Hello gardening friends, welcome to Backyard Basics. More and more people are growing vegetables these days. For the past couple of years I've seen so many new gardeners coming on and starting to grow vegetables in their landscape, and it's just a wonderful thing. For example, right here, $2.50 for this tomato, $2 for this pepper, and $2.80 for 3 squash. That's $7 something for just these few vegetables. Now these are organic, and so organic costs a little bit more, but still, it's very expensive. And you can grow a lot of vegetables at home, just, many more than this. You can probably grow $200 or $300 worth of vegetables easily, even in only these varieties right here, and there's so many to pick from. A lot of folks are doing it in their front yard. Here's a local gardener, Renee Studebaker's yard, and it's beautiful. She took out the lawn. Finally, folks are taking out the lawn. If you're going to be using a mower out there and polluting, and if you're going to be out there wasting water, well then, why don't you convert all of that into growing food? The neighbors like it, and it's just a beautiful way to change your landscape. So a lot of folks have switched from the backyard, the traditional way, to the front yard, where there's light. Now, in some instances, the light is minimal in the landscape. There's not a lot of room, and or you're doing it for the kids, although I would encourage you to grow food for the whole family. So some folks are using what's known as the square foot garden, a very productive garden. This is mine, and this is just a beautiful, highly productive garden. You can put many into the garden out there, many different types of square foot gardens, some long ones, and but the square foot is very important in order to get an abundance of vegetables. So square foot gardening is really popular. Now, one of the things to remember is you can't garden in the shade. There are no farms in the shade. Here's an example of a tomato that's been growing in the shade. It's nothing on it. There's no vegetables there, no tomatoes on it, because it's in the shade. So do not plant your tomatoes in any kind of shade. They won't produce. Go out into the sun. 15 feet away from the shady tomato is one producing like crazy. And this is one of the heirloom varieties. And next year, heirlooms are going to be very big. Heirloom seeds are going to be available all over the place. Heirloom transplants of tomatoes and other vegetables will be all over the place. Those are some of the best ones that you can get. And it's going to be popular. So get in there early to get your vegetables. Now, if you have a limited space, maybe you'll want to get some transplants. Transplants are also available. And they will go into the garden, and in those limited gardens, like one small square foot garden, this will be perfect also. You don't need to buy a whole bunch of seed. But seeds are the most economical way to start a garden. And you can grow them over and over from season to season. Seeds usually last a long time. One of the more important things you're going to need in that garden is homemade compost. There is nothing better than homemade compost. And so I would encourage you to do that and read a little bit. There's lots of information out there. Some of it's online, and some of it's just available in bookstores or at the library. You can go down there. You don't have to buy anything at the bookstore. And just go down to the library and study. One of the important things, depending on where you live, is a chart that tells you when to plant. If you're a new gardener, you don't really know, maybe don't have the experience yet on what season we're planting. So that's another important aspect of this, is to know when to plant, where to plant, and to notice that next year heirloom vegetables are going to be very popular. So if you don't want to pay a tremendous amount of money for a little bit of food, why not garden at home? It's economical, and the food comes out of the garden as fresh as can be. The freshest fruit and food you're going to grow is in the home garden. Then you go to the farmer's market and you supplement the rest of it. So it's easy to do. I encourage you to get on board with us and grow your own food at home. And don't forget, companion planting is another very important of doing these things. For Backyard Basics, I'm John Dromgoole. I'll see you out in the garden.